everybody, welcome to day 2 of our Paint an Animal Species a Day painting challenge. So if you want to check out yesterday's tiger painting, the video has been released on YouTube and we'll do a card over there. So today's painting is going to be Swans. It's a simpler painting for 2 reasons. One, there's a lot of one color that's kind of the base, which is really nice, and then you just kind of add more warm tones or add highlights to it. And that's pretty much the whole painting. So hopefully it should be quite simpler to paint than fur. Give my hand a break, and hopefully we can finish it before midnight. Who knows? And recently the last 3 paintings I have done for commissions or otherwise have involved water reflections. So we have some really calm, peaceful water, which I have lots of practice painting. So I'm really hoping we can turn it out fairly quickly. So we're gonna go paint a pair of swans on a lake. And that's what's coming up next. So enjoy the time lapse, guys. And let me know if you have any questions that you want me to talk about when I'm doing these videos. It's nice to have some inspiration of what to talk about during the time lapse. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the like button down below, and we have hit double digits. Woohoo! It'll help more people find the channel. So other growing artists or people who just want to see how on earth something like this is created. So enjoy!
Okay, so here you can see I'm mixing colors in the background, and I actually show this the next time I go to do it, but I'm starting with the what I thought was going to be the only layer. It turned out to be the first layer. I am mixing, there's kind of like a pink yellow shade at the top, more bright yellow, and then lighter, and then white. So I'm starting with those 4 colors to make my pretty smooth gradient. And with the lighting on the canvas, it's kind of difficult to see, but you're gonna see when we turn to the other angle exactly what this kind of looks like. The top half I've done really smooth between like the pink yellow down to the brighter yellow. Yeah, and then at the bottom, I've added it to be more kind of streaky with white in there to kind of make the water effect, you know, build some foundation for it to make it easier to paint later on. Now I'm blocking in the swans. I kind of started with the main body. I did have a chalk outline on this. It's slightly hard for it to see. I just kind of did the main body of the animal. You can kind of see the chalk of the head of the second one to the right. And when I'm blocking in color, I'm kind of doing a mix of little tiny brush strokes to start building up that kind of feather layer appearance. And I'm kind of bouncing around. It was pretty late in the evening at this point, and I was kind of just trying to throw paint on as much as possible. Normally I kind of stick to one color at a time, but this time it was whatever inspiration took. So you can see I'm kind of working on the head and the face and the neck of the one, and just trying to get one area where I can kind of get a better sense of how far I'm gonna take the feathers, what I'm hoping the final texture is gonna look like, and then I'll paint the rest of the swans to kind of match that area and then build it all up from there. I'm also starting to define some of the reflections that are in the water, just playing with how far down I want them to go and what the lighting's gonna look like in them, what tones I'm gonna have in the water reflections, if it's gonna match the swan color exactly, or if it's gonna be a little different.
Wow, okay. Day 2 didn't go as planned. Yeah, we already are behind somehow. So last year when I did this, it was day 24 with the blue whale skeleton that I didn't complete the painting in the same day I started it. And yeah, we had a really good streak going until that happened. And that was because like the tiny bones were hurting my hand at that point, and it was for preserving yourself, your talents, your hands. Gotta keep the moneymaker safe. As to why I didn't continue painting the blue whale skeleton, and then the next few days I did a lot of looser style just to preserve, you know, it's for me when I'm painting really detailed stuff like the fur and the tiger, I brace my pinky on the canvas when I do detailed work to help keep your hand steady. So it's actually this muscle in here that gets me. with really fine detailed stuff. Anyway, that's a bit of a side topic, but I did not finish the swans. So I didn't plan on needing 3 layers of the background colors to cover the canvas. And I will know that for when we're moving in the future. But yeah, when you're using yellow paint, it's really hard, even though my Liquitex paints are really high pigment, yellow in general doesn't cover stuff well. It's a bit of a struggle to work with. So that was an issue. And we had the canvas dry enough to sketch in the chalk of the swans at 11:30 p.m., which was not setting myself up for success yesterday. So the tiger video took way too long to edit. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, but then I finished editing at around 5:30, I think, and because I stayed up so late painting it the night before, I didn't get to work until like 11:30 again. So 6.5 hours isn't that bad for editing a 12, 13 minute long video, but I ran into some issues with the audio microphone and getting it to work. So I had to retake, my voice over the time lapse after I had already done that kind of A-cut of all the time lapse footage and some other things. So yeah, I was just gonna start painting today, and you'd notice the outfit and hair change, but I wanted to come on and explain a little bit more about like where I'm at with the challenge. So today, I'm not sure if the swan video is actually going to get posted because my #1 priority in this challenge is the painting. So I'm gonna try and flip things so that I get to paint first thing in the morning, and then in the evening can go home and edit the video footage for that night. And then it'll start processing and uploading to YouTube the next morning. I can take a break at lunch, put all the tags and other things in the video after it's ready to go. And then I'm gonna try and start releasing the videos at noon each day. I think that gives enough time. My internet at home is too slow. The office internet's way better to upload a video. It would take like a month. Real town problems. But yeah, so we're gonna continue on painting the swans. We're gonna add some more detail in the feathers. This one's kind of at the block-in stage. This one, the neck is starting to go with colors. I always start darker. I'll probably talk about this when I do the voiceover anyway, but for now, I always start darker and then go lighter when I paint, because then you get the highlights that are really bright and you can see a lot of texture. So we're working on building that up in the swan neck. The body of the swan is still pretty loose. We have some feather details, but the stuff's still pretty transparent. And then we're gonna start building in the water reflections, and you can kind of see where its neck's going down and stuff. But yeah, so we're gonna paint this, hopefully wrap it up in the next 2 hours. We'll jump back into the time lapse and we'll get this painting done. And maybe edit it tonight, maybe, who knows. All right.
Yeah, so I'm continuing working on the water reflections. You can kind of see how I'm playing with where their head reflections are gonna go down below. And for the left swan, you can see that all of my water reflections are on a bit of an angle right now. I do fix that later, but it's really hard to draw straight lines, We all just do our best, and you can fix it later. A challenge in a painting like this, where all the colors are so light, is really trying to get your highlights to pop. So because there's not much contrast in a very soft colored painting like this, you have to really layer your white to get it to really punch through. And I started doing that in the water reflections. I'm kind of making little streaks so that you can see how there's more disturbance around the water near the swans, and then it's getting calmer further away from the swans because they're creating that motion. And in a moment here, I switched to doing dots of white in the water to really try and get it really bright and to get a thicker paint layer that kind of punches through a little bit more. So I'm playing with some soft grays. The grays are either tinted yellow to kind of match the watercolor, or there's a little bit of the pink color mixed in them. And I'm using Payne's gray, and that's a lot softer than a really harsh black for something like this. There's not really any true black in the painting, even in their beaks. So we're just working on building up that water reflection. Trying to smooth out how it's going to look closer to the animal, because certain areas that are closer are going to be further down in the reflection, so it's not a straight line across. If you see the wing of the swan really kind of comes down in the painting a little bit more, that helps give it the illusion of being closer towards you. So here I'm going in with all those dots in the water just to try and really get that, not a splash, but kind of the light glinting off of the surface of the water. That kind of appearance of what it's going to look like. And something I was trying to pay attention to when I was doing this is the direction that the swans were swimming. So if you notice the dots, splashes, whatever you want to call them, for the right swan that's swimming into the painting, the dots go a lot lower because that water in front of it would have been just more recently stirred up as it passed through that. Whereas the swan on the left, it really kind of stops after its main body reflection, and then it has more dots behind it, which would be to the left of the canvas. So just little details to try and add some direction and movement into the artwork. And now when we're painting the beak, I'm doing some final little highlights and glints. All around the swans are dots as well to try and really get those feathers and the lighting to really look like it's surrounding the animal and punching through. The beak color is a really soft pink. It's almost orange. It's just a few shades darker than that very top color of the canvas, which I think kind of really complements all the colors in this piece really well. And I actually had a lot of trouble with the tail of the right swan. It's kind of a really weird perspective to try and get the feathers. They're going in a lot of different directions there, and especially the edge, there's a lot of light shining through the feathers, which in my reference image had them being a very bright yellow color, and it wasn't looking quite right. So you'll see me work on that in a little bit. So right now I'm just going over with pure white again, trying to thicken it up and add some more detail and texture of the feathers. I'm trying to lighten this whole swan up, so I'm just using titanium white, and it's an opaque version of the Liquitex soft body colors, but white isn't that white. So we're adding all those little details and directions of the feather. That's the main important part that we're trying to get, is the correct length and direction of each paint stroke at this point. And the rest kind of falls into place as long as you follow those two rules. And this tail did give me a lot of challenge because it's hard in a painting like this. I didn't want to knock the front of the swan back with colder colors, which helps create depth in a painting like this. So I was trying to really warm up the tail, but then it's also so shadowed. So it was really hard to get the kind of perspective right on the tail feathers of this swan. And I went back and played with it quite a bit. I did really expect this painting to be a quick one, but with two animals and the details in the feathers, it was actually a pretty challenging painting.
Okay, we have finished day 2's paintings of our two swans. It took longer than I thought, as always, classic. We are about to start day 3 now, so I'm not positive I'm gonna get this video out today by the end of the day, but I'm gonna try and edit it when I go home tonight, and it'll be released tomorrow for sure. That would be the 4th. And yeah, so I really enjoyed painting the swans. I had a lot of fun with the bright colors. I don't think I've ever used a pink background in my work. I do a lot of underwater stuff, as you may or may not know. So this was really kind of fun to play with new colors, and I enjoyed it. I knew how hard it was going to be to paint something every day, that with the addition of editing a video each day, I'm hoping will get easier as it goes forward. I have a lot of stuff still to kind of tweak with editing, especially around audio, I'm hoping to learn. So hopefully then I will be able to maybe pick a very simple painting for day 4, get a bit of a reset, and we will catch up. And then day 5, we're gonna start getting into some more crazy stuff. And we'll start painting first thing in the day, getting all those updates on Instagram, and then I'll be editing the videos in the evening. So I hope you're enjoying this. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. And that's it, guys. So thank you so much for watching our video of day 2 of my 31-day challenge. If you are interested in seeing the first video that I put out, introducing the challenge and talking a bit about my goals for the month of January, it will be up above. And if you want to see yesterday's painting of the tiger, it will be below. So check it out and we'll see you guys soon.